I was trying to decide whether or not I was going to do a video about this or not, but I knew that I wasn't doing a live stream this upcoming Friday. By the way, I'm recording this video on December 21st, 2021. And if I was going to talk about this story, it was going to be in that live stream. But since I'm not having one this upcoming Friday, which of course by the time this video gets uploaded, it'll be well into next week. Hell, it might be into 2022, and some of us might talk about it on the final live stream of the year that I plan on having on New Year's Eve. So I'm speaking prematurely right now, just giving y'all some context. But when I got onto Twitter this morning, this is one of the first things I saw on the trending page. And I said, are you serious right now? Are you for real? So this is from TMZ's Twitter account. And it says, Frodo, the last surviving dog from the Michael Vick dogfighting ring, has died at 15 years old. Now, the reason why I'm pulling up this picture is because I want y'all to see how they made this picture. They put up a picture of Mike Vick, and then they put a picture up of that dog, and they have that dog look like really sad, like it's in one of those commercials where they're trying to save dogs or any abused animal. And they play that sad in the arms of an angel song behind it. I know exactly what they're trying to do. Now, mind you, the whole incident with Michael Vick and the dogs fighting indirectly, and I say indirectly because he wasn't at home when he did it, but they throw it onto him because he was the wealthiest man in the room. Well, not in the room, but it was on his property. Remember, he wasn't home, but it was on his property. And I think it was his cousin that was dog fighting, but he was the one that ended up doing the time for it. He did his time. He paid his debt to society. He's spoken at various animal rights events and all types of stuff like that. Now, mind you, that happened back in like 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I was 19 when this happened. I am now 32. I was in college when all of this went down. And they're still talking about it. This is something that Harvey talks about on his channel and others as well. But I know that he mentions it a lot, especially when he talks about Chris Brown. They will forever constantly, which ironically that incident happened that same year too. They will never let down what a black man has done if it's something that's deemed negative. How many stories have I talked about on my channel just this year alone, probably just in the last month alone, dealing with PC and them quote unquote messing it, because I have to speak kind of censored with that one in a blurred way, with animals, specifically dogs. Did one on a former stripper in Louisiana who was messing with a dog and a child. I did one on a former cop who had child videos, quote unquote, and he was messing around with his canine. Yet they want to constantly bring up and talk about Michael Vick and what happened with him back in 2008. He went to jail for it. He paid his fines. He paid his dues. Like I said, he went to numerous speaking events for animal rights activists. And they keep bringing this up, just like with O.J. Simpson and they're going to do it with Bill Cosby. They're going to do it with R. Kelly. They've done it several times with Michael Jackson, and so on and so forth. Are y'all seeing the repetitiveness here? Are you seeing it? They're never going to allow Michael Vick to live this down for the rest of his life, ever. They want to make sure that he continues to suffer behind this. Now, these groups, to my knowledge, have never once mentioned this dog before until today. And how ironic they want to mention it the week going into the holiday. Granted, some people don't, celebrate the day, whatever it is, but I'm just saying it for contextual purposes. They do this days before that. Michael Vick could have been out having the time of his life, and all of a sudden he would get stopped dead in his tracks when they mentioned this incident right here. And now, of course, it's probably going to make him feel some type of way. And literally everybody who saw this said the same thing I did. It must be a slow news day for the media if this is a story. And the reason why I'm not just saying TMZ, even though I'm using TMZ for this video, because they were the first ones I saw about this, people talked about the same thing. And probably some other outlets as well. But TMZ and People were the two outlets, entertainment outlets, quote unquote, that made this a headline. They could have just said they could have worded this a whole lot differently, but they knew it would have no legs if they didn't attach Michael Vick's name to this. And it's just basically another one of those big black boogeyman stories. Oh, we gotta make sure that he doesn't forget. And if y'all don't believe me, let me show y'all something right quick. So here's just a screenshot of some articles from the last couple of weeks or most recent ones involving Michael Vick. Of course, we saw this one. This is the one I said came from People. The one that I'm talking about on TMZ. This is the People one right here. This one says Michael Vick found a future on TV, but his past is still chasing him. Of course, they're most likely talking about the dogfighting, in which they are. His involvement in deadly dogfighting, blah, 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 blah. This one right here doesn't mention it. This one again right here mentions it. Michael Vick remains disappointed in how he handled the dogfighting scandal. That's a blemish I will never be able to erase. And they're going to make sure that he doesn't. And I made a mistake on the year. They said his prison sentence began in 2007. So this was before 2008. So it's older than that. So this happened before I was in college. This happened, November I was in college. I was in my freshman year, my first semester, my freshman year of college. I was only 18 when this happened. And I remember it when it happened. And I was like, dang, they gonna really him up because you know how PC is about their dogs. But never did I think they would stretch it out this far. Of course, at that time, at 18, you don't think too much of it. But now it's like, okay, now I see what they're doing. But look at the dates. Well, the dates are not present, but look at the weeks. 3 weeks ago, you're talking about at the beginning of this month towards the end of November when this was written, when they were mentioning about the dogs. And then you have this one that's written today. And these are the recent articles. These are the recent ones. And something tells me if this one talked about it and this one talked about it and this is 3 weeks, but it's not seen right here on the Sports Talk ATL, it's probably somewhere mentioned in here. You just can't see it in this part right here. You have to click it and read it, and it'll probably mention something about the dog fighting in there. They're never going to let it down. And even he says that's a blemish that I will never be able to erase. And it's not because he doesn't want to erase it, because I'm sure he wants to get it out, like not have it be mentioned. But he knows the media, People and TMZ and others, Washington Post, Sportscasting, are going to continue to bring it up. Like we have said, he has paid his debt to society. He did his time. Let it go and move on. See, these are the same people that tell us that we need to get over this and we need to get over that, but they can't even get over this. And how many times have they been known to torture their animals? How many times have they been known to make certain creatures endangered species? Oh yes, when they be talking about creatures are endangered species, a lot of the time it's because of them that are causing that to happen. So when you see, oh, the rhinos are going extinct, then all of a sudden you see a picture popping up with a PC person or persons with a rifle in their hand or some type of heavy artillery, and they're next to a dead rhino and they take a picture of it like the form of a postcard, and they all of a sudden say under the caption, rhinos are going extinct, or this type of whatever is going extinct. And somewhere, somehow, some way, they are always there with their gun in hand after they slaughtered it. No wonder they're going extinct. But then want to claim and turn around that they are some of the biggest animal lovers in the world. When's the last time you've seen a black poacher? Not saying that they don't exist, but when's the last time you've seen one? Known or otherwise. Exactly. You probably couldn't even tell me. But yeah, they need to leave Mike Vick alone. I know that's me just like saying it. I know it's not going to happen. They're going to continue to drag this man through the media about this whole dogfighting situation. I can only imagine what they're going to say when this man passes on. They probably gonna say, well, beloved football player, but, and we know what's coming after the but. You know what I always say, after the but comes BS. Just like this whole story right here that TMZ and People put out there and these other publications constantly bringing it up, BS. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world right now. A whole bunch they could have been talking about, but they decided to talk about this. I didn't even know what the dog's name was. I didn't even know what breed of dog it was. So when they said Frodo, I'm like, who the hell is Frodo? The only Frodo I know of is from the Lord of the Rings. And I even watched Lord of the Rings, but I'm familiar with the character. But yeah, this is lamestream media for you in a nutshell. So to the black men out there who are in entertainment, if you make even one wrong move, they will make sure you never forget it, and they will try to make sure that the public doesn't forget either. Because here's the thing, they did not only do this to reassure this to Michael Vick. I mean, how could he forget this? This was a huge, like he said, a blemish on his career, on his life. Like this right here, he could have ended him. This one thing could have ended him, but it didn't. He was able to bounce back, and I think they hated it. They hated that. They hated that he was able to bounce back from that, come back to the NFL, and then leave the NFL on a high note, and then go on to do sports commentating. And notice every time he left on a high note somewhere, in comes these talks about the dogfighting. So I'm wondering, Michael Vick, is he on a high note right now? That's what I want to know. Is his life going good right now? Because every time something going good in his life, they always bring this up to try to bring it down. But here's the thing, lamestream media, the people don't care. And see, that's another thing. They need to try to get the people to be on their side. We don't care. Hell, I didn't even care back then. At first, it was like, wow, it was a controversy. Of course, it was I guess you can say it was a scandal, and it was shocking, considering, but we didn't dwell on it. I know I didn't. I had so much other stuff going on in my 18-year-old life at that time with college and whatnot. I had a lot on my plate, and this wasn't on the plate. This wasn't even a side dish. But lamestream media had to make sure that they kept it out there, and they have to make sure to keep it going. That's why I said when this man passes on, I'm almost scared of what they're going to say. And it's probably going to be a lot of fake and phony people out there that are going to have something else to say as well.